Dave, thank you. Loads of changes then to the stars. But here in Peterborough, it's time to get on with the Riders' Parade and Kelvin Tatum.
Thank you very much, Abby, and just hot-footed it across to the commentary position, and we'll start with the visitors tonight, take a good look at them, and the young rising star rider is Jake Mulford, and beginning to make his presence felt. He's been picking up some useful points for the Aces, as the Aces are doing rather well. Of course, they're at the top of the table right now. Keenan Rue coming in as a guest, of course. He rides for the Ipswich Witches ordinarily, but Norik Blodorn had an accident in Poland yesterday, so he's not fit to ride. And Keenan Rue, who had a terrific SGP round, coming in at number 6. Brady Kurtz, the captain, who's having a fine season, certainly leading from the front this year. He is doing sterling work, and the Australian is almost certainly going to be part of their Speedway World Cup squad, so going along nicely. Charles Wright, of course, former British champion, a stalwart of the side these days in the engine room down at number 4. Always a hard charger, Charles, and an exciting rider to watch, that's for sure. Now, my man to watch for the evening for the Bellevue Aces is Jaimin Lidsey. Started the season slowly, certainly lacking confidence, but of late, in recent weeks, has really been riding out of his skin and piling on the points both here in the UK and around Europe. So he will be one to keep an eye on tonight. Young Tom Brennan comes out at number 2, certainly making his way in the sport, and at times looks like he's really going to break through and become a heat leader. And young Tom is enjoying himself with the Bellevue Aces. And of course, a man that really needs no introduction, the British champion, the British Grand Prix champion from last year, Dan Bewley, such a talented individual, back in British Speedway in 2023. Great to see him here. And although he's lost his cap, I'm sure that won't slow him down too much. So they're the Bellevue Aces for you. Now we'll take a look at the home team. Jordan Jenkins, the rising star, like Jake Mulford, is certainly gaining invaluable experience. Talking of experience, Hans Andersen down at number 6. Well, he has been around some considerable time, and if he can just start firing, will be a very useful reserve indeed. Now the man to watch, the new boy, Vadim Tarasенko from Russia, coming into the side, had a fabulous debut up at the National Speedway Stadium, Bellevue, last week. Really did go great guns. Found it a little more testing at Ipswich at Foxhall Heath, but this is his home debut, so everybody concerned will be hoping he goes well. Richie Worrell, of course, Steve Worrell's twin, part and parcel of the team this year, and on his night can produce some super performances. Benjamin Basso, another youngster, of course. He has riding well, of course, in the SGP2 series, and looking to go well here tonight. Big night for the Panthers all round. Ben Coot, of course, coming into the team this year, an Australian rider, and certainly can pick up some very useful points, and is an eye-catching rider. And another rider that needs no introduction, of course, is Niels Christian Iversen, and coming in to replace Nicky Pedersen, and just found it a little difficult to settle in. But they're the two teams for you, and we're not too far away from the action getting underway. And for the moment, we'll get back down to Abby in the pit area.
Kelvin, thank you. Now, we've been asking for you to be part of the conversation. The hashtag tonight is PetBound. I do apologise because you have been tweeting, but the last meeting there was so much going on that we didn't get to them. But tonight I have my phone, so use that hashtag, get your thoughts and opinions and questions to the guys, and I will make sure I will get to them. Okay, here in Peterborough, we're moments away from Heat 1. Stay with us. New Peterborough Panthers signing is Vadim Tarasенko. Went so well, debut for the Panthers at Bellevue last week, but this is his first home meeting. So first of all, welcome to our coverage. How did this signing come about?
Hello. I'm really happy for my debut in Peterborough. Today we training on this track, and I hope we will find a good setup for a big week on this track. we will see how it will be with other riders because, when you're alone, you're fast.
It was a great first performance for the Panthers in Manchester. You scored 12 points. You've got to be so pleased with that debut.
In Manchester was pretty nice. I put one engine from Poland. I see before on YouTube how it looks like, track looks. And I see it's engine from Wrocław will be okay. It was nice, but to put it engine to Ipswich, it wasn't okay. It's because its track is a little bit tricky. But I'm trying now. I know what I need.
Such different tracks. Let's talk about then Vadim as a person. How are you finding England?
I was searching for more meetings, and when Emil come to England, I asked him about maybe you need a rider in your team. Ask about riders in Poland. I'm here now. It's okay, fine.
And are you enjoying? We've had great English weather for you. Are you enjoying the sunshine?
Before they say to me in England, it's not pretty good. When I come, I say, well, it's okay. It's pretty nice. I don't know. Today we have 30 degrees before afternoon. In the morning, cool. I like a British breakfast. Also, it's okay. Back on,
What is your go-to English breakfast then? What do you have? Do you have the full works?
Yes, I have a picture in my phone. Firstly, I go to breakfast. I say to my manager, I want to eat traditional English breakfast. It was mushrooms, eggs. Yeah, it was nice.
You can't have that every day, by the way. And do Emil and Seifertinov and Artem Laguta, are you all chatting to each other about the experience here in the UK?
Yeah, I asked Artem or Emil about tracks. Emil says in Ipswich it was okay, but when I come, it was so difficult for me, But I'm still learning.
He needs to give you some more tips. Go well tonight, Vadim. It's brilliant to have you riding here in the UK. Thank you so much for chatting.
Thank you.
So there's plenty of two-wheel action coming your way across the channel, including the World Superbikes. It's round 6. They're from Donington Park, Eurosport 2 on Saturday. The World Supercross, it is their first round from Birmingham, live from Villa Park. That's also on Saturday, Eurosport 2, 6:30. The Motocross World Championships from Lombok, Sunday morning, Eurosport 2, and Bennett's British Superbikes, round 5 for them. Snetterton, that's Eurosport 2 on the 8th and 9th of July. But here in Peterborough, it is time for Heat 1 between the Panthers and the Aces. Your commentator this evening, Calvin Tatum.
Yes, thank you, Abby. And riders now just being pushed off and released out into the track for the first time. I'll just bring to you now, the Bellevue Aces have won the coin toss and they chose to take gates 1 and 3 in the opening race, and that means that the home side will have the choice of gates in Heat 15. We will wait and see whether that choice by the Aces is the wise one. Often is the case that visiting teams will elect to go from the inside gates in the opening races. Certainly can be of some benefit. This track is fast. It's similar in that respect to the National Speedway Stadium where this man rides, of course, and leads from the front, Dan Bewley. Just coming back fresh from a busy weekend, in truth. He's been riding in the Grand Prix on Saturday night in Gorzów and then represented his Polish club yesterday, and then hot-footing it back across to the East of England arena here tonight. So a busy man indeed. In truth, at this time of year, for international riders like Niels Christian Iversen and Dan Bewley, they are extraordinarily busy, riding in 3 leagues and championship events as well. So an interesting meeting in prospect here with top versus bottom, but the home team with a new signing in Vadima Tarasенko certainly looking to be revitalised. Had a good effort up at the National Speedway Stadium last week, pushing the home team all the way, just coming short, but encouraging signs, you would say. Niels Christian Iversen, of course, vastly experienced rider, having ridden for Kings Lynn for many seasons, coming in and says he's just beginning to settle down and getting his engine and setups just about right. Heat number 1 for you then is Tom Brennan will go from the inside in yellow. Ben Cook from Australia will come out of gate number 2 in blue. Gate number 3 in white is Dan Bewley, and Niels Christian Iversen in the red helmet colour will go from the outside. Could be quite a tussle here. Panthers will want to get off to a good start here. The aggregate point, well, in truth, that's going to be tough for the home team because the Aces have got a 20-point lead from the first leg. But nonetheless, it's all about winning at home for the Panthers right now, just to restore some confidence, try and just get some belief back in their team. As I say, they haven't waved the white flag. They've rejigged the team with a fresh signing that we'll see a little later on. Here we go then. Heat number 1 tapes up and we're away. They go roaring into the first corner, and it's Ben Cook and Tom Brennan. Brennan just about holding it on there. Here comes Bewley now. Bewley around the outside. Niels Christian Iversen just almost running into the back of Tom Brennan. It's a great start for the Bellevue Aces here. Certainly Dan Bewley round the outside, electing to go right in that dirt, high and wide, and that's worked a treat, and he gets his nose in front of Tom Brennan. Iversen now electing to move out wide as well, trying to generate some pace, but it's going to be tough from here. Aces settling down very nicely indeed, riding well together. Dan Bewley, who has elected not to ride in the UK last year, riding in Sweden and Poland, but is riding in all 3 leagues this year, so he's a very busy man indeed. And they're going to set fair here for a nice big 5-1, the maximum score you can get. And they've pulled away, and it's going to be a comfortable opening heat number 1 for the Aces. Fine stuff from them. And they made those inside gates work a treat. Really was superb. A little bit of pressure early on. Iversen came through just momentarily there, but nonetheless, Bewley and Brennan in particular were able to respond. And the ideal start for the team leading the way in the championship chase. So here's the result then for heat number 1. Dan Bewley out in front, 3 points. Second is Tom Brennan, 2 for him. Niels Christian Iversen back in 3rd place, and Ben Cook missing out in heat number 1. And Scotty, in truth, that was fairly straightforward. Just a little bit of pressure from Iversen early doors.
Yeah, it was, Kelv. It's a shame for the home team. Obviously, desperately wanted to get off to a good start. They did win the coin toss, but I was actually surprised that the outside was working so early on. Dan Bewley, you can see here in the white, brave move down the back straight, but elects to go straight to that dirt, and that doesn't always work here, so that could be a good sign for later on in the meeting. But like you say, Kelv, the 2 home boys were battling away, but the 2 boys from Bellevue out front just dominated. You can see here from the start, Dan Bewley spins up initially, but just works that clutch all the way to the corner. Look at him leaning across, determined to stop the run of Ben Cook, but there he's got to cover 2 of them. He's got to stop Iversen on the outside too. So a very, very smart first turn from Dan Bewley there, Kelv. He read the track very, very well.
Yeah, nice move from Dan. Both riders actually spun up a bit from the outside there, but Bewley, who certainly took care of Iversen initially and then was able to get the better of young Ben Cook down the back straight. And as I say, they've got off to the ideal start. Heat number 2, the 2-minute warning is on. Our referee this evening is Wayne Jarvis, and he's given the hurry up to riders to make their way round to the start line for the second race of the night. Now, the reserves can take up to 7 rides, so they can play a vital part in the outcome of a meeting. If you get one that's really hot and a rider in the main body of the team isn't going quite as well, they can replace them, or they can switch the reserves around. That is something that we see on a regular basis, and team managers will be keeping a very close eye on that. We've also got a guest in here for the Bellevue Aces with Norik Bladorn for the Bellevue Aces, having sustained a crash yesterday in Poland, and we've got Keenan Rue coming in, whose parent club is the Ipswich Witches, and Keenan's coming here fresh off the back of a solid performance in the SGP2 Grand Prix on Friday night in Gorzów. A couple of the boys up at tapes already, and just a few minor adjustments to riders making their way round. That is Keenan Rue. He's got the guest race jacket on there effectively to make him look like he's part and parcel of the Aces tonight. Keenan Rue certainly is a rider that is gaining in experience and doing a decent job for the Ipswich Witches, so I sense he'll enjoy the East of England arena tonight. Heat number 2 then. Hans Andersen, the captain of the Peterborough Panthers, will go from the inside in red. Keenan Rue, the guest, will come out of gate number 2 in white. Gate number 3 in blue is Jordan Jenkins, the rising star. And we've seen Jordan go very well around here in the past. And Jake Mulford, the rising star from the Aces, will go from the outside. Can the Panthers bounce back here? They've got gates 1 and 3. They really need to after that strong start by the Aces in heat number 1. Oh, a bit of movement on the start line there from Mulford, and no surprise at all to see the red lights come on. Unsatisfactory start. I do believe that it looked like Mulford was just creeping forward there, and quite possibly we'll get a warning for that. And let's just take a look at it again. Yes, he is clearly rolling and actually gained an advantage as a consequence. That's why the red lights came on so quickly. He was aware of it. We'll have it confirmed, but there's no doubt that he will be issued with a warning. But this is in actual fact 2 riders moving on the outside there, but I think the main culprit was young Jake, so he'll be issued with a warning. Well, the race director from the Grand Prix, Phil Morris, is certainly very much part and parcel of British Speedway these days as well, and he's just informed the youngster that he carries a warning, and that warning will be carried throughout the evening. So if he does something similar later on, he can be excluded for that. So he will now have to behave himself. Strict regulations now on the start line, that's for sure. Charles Wright and Mark Lemon just making their way across to watch heat number 2 with Charles Wright out in the next race. He's prepared to go. Hans Andersen, who's not been in good form, the captain of the Peterborough Panthers, is already up at tapes for the second time of asking him here now. He needs a big night. A vastly experienced rider, a Grand Prix winner in the past, so we'll be looking out for him. Heat number 2 then, Hans Andersen off the inside in red, Keenan Rue out of gate number 2 in white, Jordan Jenkins will come out of gate number 3 in blue, and off the outside with the warning there, Jake Mulford in the yellow helmet colour. Second time of asking for heat number 2 here. Lovely evening, good track conditions. We should be in for a good Speedway meeting tonight. Here we go then, tapes up and we're underway. Hans Andersen's got to the first corner in front. Keenan Rue there certainly packing into second place, and Mulford round the outside as well. Look at Keenan Rue. Mulford now winding it on round the outside. Hans Andersen hugging the inside. Chasing through now comes Keenan Rue. Mulford was just there, very vulnerable. And look at Jordan Jenkins. Jenkins has come charging through into third place, now beginning to put some pressure on Keenan Rue. Rue slams the door shut on the entrance to turn number 3 on the second lap. Andersen out in front, hugging the inside, no temptation to move off the line at all. Got to say, Jenkins is looking threatening in third place. Will he move off the line? No, he's trying to work his way there. He's hugging right up the exhaust pipe of the Australian Keenan Rue. Into the last lap now. Hans Andersen has been absolutely faultless out in front. Good start, has ridden strongly around the inside. Keenan Rue looks competitive in second place, but a good bounce back there for the home team, a 4-2, a heat advantage to them. It's what they need, and they won't want to see the Bellevue Aces run out of sight here, so good response from the home team there in heat number 2. Hans Andersen with an encouraging ride there out in front. Jordan Jenkins also showing some good pace back in third, so the result for heat number 2 for you is Andersen out in front, 3 points. Keenan Rue, second place for him, 2 points. Jordan Jenkins, 1 point for him, and Jake Mulford, unfortunately, just getting caught on the outside there. he fails to score in heat number 2. And Scott got a feel for young Jake Mulford. Just got himself in the wrong place at the wrong time there. And I think Jordan Jenkins showed some good pace as well.
Yeah, he did. It was a big win for Hans. Not sure if Jake Mulford there had actually clutch drag or if he was trying to anticipate the sight himself, but nonetheless in the restart, Hans Andersen gets his front wheel over that white line on the entry to the turn, and he knows this place well and desperately needed that win, Kelv. Keenan Roof forcing him up the inside, but as the race went on, Jordan Jenkins, you mentioned him earlier, rode a smart race up the inside of Jake Mulford there. He tries to do the same up the inside of Keenan Roof, but can't quite get it there. Keenan Roof just got the legs on him to get down the outside there.
Did indeed. So, but an encouraging signs there for the home team, and they need a little bit more of that if they want to just battle back. And we got just the 2 points in it after a couple of races. Obviously, the aggregate score is very much in front of the Bellevue Aces, and we're on board in this race. And so we'll hopefully pick up some terrific action here. We're on board with Benjamin Basso, so he certainly is a live wire, so we'll keep an eye out for that. We could well pick up some decent action from the youngster. And another rider that's enjoying his time in the UK, and we saw him also riding in Gordroff in the SGP2 Grand Prix at the weekend, and he was interviewed there and said how important it was for his career that he was riding in the UK with the different tracks and surfaces, and that was very good to hear. So riders up at Tapes for the third race of the evening, and certainly one of my riders to watch is out here as well, Jaimin Lidzi, who is certainly really beginning to go great guns, so we'll be watching for him as well. Heat number 3 then is Jaimin Lidzi for the Bellevue Aces on the inside in the white helmet colour. Richie Worrell coming out of gate number 2 in blue. Gate number 3 in yellow is Charles Wright, and Ben Basso will go from the outside in red. As I say, this is a power-packed pairing from the Bellevue Aces here. Charles Wright never gives in. He's a 100% trier. So home team off gates 2 and 4 will need to scrap hard here. Richie Worrell certainly at times has looked very encouraging this year, and Benjamin Basso, I've got to say, he's a hard charger himself. We're underway. They go charging into the first corner. Lidzi's made a smashing start there. Worrell's gone very wide. That's opened the door wide open. Charles Wright was gratefully received that and has come through straight into second place. I think Worrell just may have made a mistake there. Got to say, it's hard yards there. There's certainly Basso working hard. It's come through into third place, but Lidzi out in front is looking good. But Benjamin Basso, keep a watch on him. He is working overtime. We're on board with him as well, desperately trying to find some extra speed, but certainly got to say the inside line generally is working better at the moment. And the Bellevue pair are just beginning to pull away and get a bit of a comfort zone between themselves and the Panthers pair. Into the last lap, Jaimin Lidzi off the inside, has hugged the inside of the track throughout the 3.5 laps so far. And the back straight for the last time, and it's going to be another massive 5-1 for the Aces. Really beginning to show a lot of strength. They looked strong on paper prior to this race, and so it proved to be. Basso trying hard back in third place, but nonetheless, Jaimin Lidzi off that inside gate. Very accomplished indeed, and Charles Wright taking full advantage of possibly Richie Worrell just running a touch wide in the first corner. Heat number 3 then, the result is Lidzi out in front 3 points, Charles Wright back in second place 2 for him, Ben Basso in third 1 point for him, and Richie Worrell just failing to score after making a really good effort there. And I don't know what your thoughts are, Scotty, but I just sense that Richie Worrell just opened the door wide open here.
Yeah, he certainly did. Jaimin Lidzi not makes a blinding start there, but he's clear enough to dictate that first turn. And Richie Worrell, he's aware that Charles Wright is there, so he swoops to the outside. It's a big track here, Kelvin. You know you don't want to lock up and scrub your speed, but sadly that dirt just wasn't there. Richie Worrell, you can see in the blue, tries to stay to the outside, but there's not enough. Benjamin Basso fought all the way, and at this point here you kind of thought he was in a mix, and when you're in this position for Benjamin, I'm sure he's probably feeling quite confident that he can actually probably try and do something to pick off Charles Wright, but it wasn't to be. The track is starting to go slick. On board here, great shot of that outside the gates there, you can see clearly focused on that, but he's dead and buried at the back here. Great to be on board up the inside of Charles Wright, but Kelv, no way through, and the Aces romp away to another 5-1.
Yeah, 2.51s in the first 3 heats. That's very useful indeed, and they're going along very nicely, and they stretch the lead out to 6 points. And as hard as Benjamin Basso tried there, just couldn't quite get the better of Charles Wright, who was able to really get amongst it coming out of that first turn. So impressive stuff from the champions, of course, who defeated the Sheffield Tigers in the grand final last year, and then going great guns once again this year. Panthers under a little bit of pressure after 3 races, but they've got their new signing coming out in heat number 4. A lot of interest on Vadim Tarasenko. Hit the ground running up at the National Speedway Stadium. Got 12 points there on his first visit, and that was a fine effort from him. And this is his home debut this evening, so I'm sure he's a touch nervous, but nonetheless he's very keen to do well here in the UK. Brady Kurtz, another rider that's having a fine season, the captain of the Aces, and I think Brady Kurtz is on the verge of really breaking through and a potential Grand Prix rider, no question about that. There's an issue on the start line there with Jordan Jenkins. Looks like his bike's just packed up momentarily. Let's hope it fires back up. Yes, just about. So he's up and running once again, so that's good news for him. And Jordan is a useful rider, that's for sure. Heat number 4 then. Off the inside for the Bellevue Aces is Jake Mulford in the yellow helmet colour. Jordan Jenkins out of gate number 2 in blue. Brady Kurtz off of gate number 3 in white. And Vadim Tarasenko off the outside in red. He's a dynamic rider. He's an eye-catching rider. He's perfect size for the modern-day Speedway rider, that's for sure. And there's no doubt that he's a hard charger and he'll want to put on quite a display tonight. I'm sure he's very keen to do so, but it's not going to be easy against an experienced rider in the UK, certainly of Brady Kurt's calibre. So good match up here in heat number 4. Tapes up and away we go. Riders on the outside. Certainly didn't appear to look at that from Tarasenko. He hustled that bike. How much did he want that? Brady Kurtz missed it. He's at the back. And the home team on a 5-1 here with Jenkins coming through into second place. Mulford back in third. But Tarasenko on his debut, a dream start there. Absolutely ruthlessly came across the opposition and has fired himself to the front. He's going great guns out in front. Jenkins has settled nicely into second place. Mulford now coming under pressure from his captain and could well be overhauled. He is in actual fact, with Kurtz now coming through into third place. But this is a great response for the Panthers. Tarasenko just charging away out in front, looking superb. Would have been thinking he'd been riding here for years. He really has settled very nicely indeed, and this will be a major confidence booster for him and the team. Can he be a catalyst for the Panthers? Certainly very impressive in his first ride, and the crowd love it. Rightly so. Fabulous ride from him, and the first 5-1 of the evening for the home team, and closing the gap down to just the 2 points. They move on to 11 points to 13 to the Aces. Smashing ride there, and particularly from the outside, and I'm sure Scotty will back me up on this, it's not easy to make starts from gate number 4 here, particularly early on. Super response from the home crowd. They've had little to cheer in the last couple of seasons, but that's got them on their feet, and that's what it's all about. Result of heat number 4 then, as Vadim Tarasenko absolutely flying out in front. 3 points for him. Jordan Jenkins back in second place, 2 points. Mulford back in third, 1. He got the 1 point. I'm not sure about that, but Brady Kurtz failing to score. He missed the start completely. But Scotty, that was a fabulous start from Tarasenko, and that's just what he was looking for.
Oh, definitely. Couldn't ask for more than that. And like you said, Kelv, it's not easy from the outside. He fires across. It helped that Brady Kurtz totally missed it, but nonetheless, he still had those other 2 boys to get in front of. And I can feel he would have been under some pressure. A lot of anticipation about tonight. Like you say, Kelv, his first night in the Panthers colours, but he romps away perfectly. Releases the clutch bang on time. That's working perfectly. He's barely got to touch that clutch. Look at that. Just one little dab of the clutch on the entry to the turn. Well clear, and that must be such a nice feeling. Jake Mulford trying to mix it up on the inside, but it was a great ride there from Jordan Jenkins. Much needed. 5-1 for the Panthers, and they certainly needed that, but fantastic from Vladimir outside. And I think the track is now starting to settle down. They'll do a track grade, but yeah, exciting, keeping it within a couple of points. And yeah, Vlad there out in front, fantastic. I believe we're going to go down to Abby. What have you got for us?
Scotty, thank you. Well, just behind me, Hans Andersen, he was just been running around the pits and just really congratulating Vadim and Jordan there as well. Two great rides, but Vadim Tarasenko is injecting this spark that this team has absolutely needed. Remember to use the hashtag. We're going to get to those questions soon, I promise. It is Pet Bell. But let's go over to Monmouth Green now and get the latest from Dave Rowe.
Well, it's always looked a tough encounter as far as Kings Lynn were concerned. They've not made a good start. Chris Harris, the rider in white, guesting for the absent Artem Laguta, anticipating in Heat 1 and losing out because Sam Masters and Steve Worrell going clear for the home side. They have been such a reliable combination in Heat 1s so far this season, and this is a 5-1 in the opening race. Thomas Jorgensen in yellow in third place, but a clear 5-1 in Heat 1 from the Wolves duo, Sam Masters and Steve Worrell, who also represent the club in the pairs at Leicester on Thursday night. Perfect start there for the home side. Heat 2 and both of the Stars' new reserves on track with Simon Lambert in white and Anders Rowe in yellow, and here they are combining, going either side of the Wolverhampton Rising Star, Leon Flint. Leon Flint trying to go back inside Simon Lambert up on the third and fourth turns, but Lambert, fair play to him, racing it back round the outside and going ahead of Leon Flint once again. Out in front is the very impressive Zach Cook in red, who has really come to the fore in recent weeks for Wolverhampton, and the battle's still on for the odd point of the back, and Leon Flint, the rider in blue here off the fourth bend, gets it all wrong, and that allows Simon Lambert to go clear in third place for a shared heat, making it 8 points to 4. The start of Heat 3, watch the rider in white here, Nikolai Clinton. Once again he makes a mistake at the start, the second time that's happened to Kings Lynn this evening, and the referee lets the race run quite rightly, and Zach Cook taking the rider replacement ride for the injured Luke Becker, combining with Ryan Douglas to go clear, and there is no way through for either Nikolai Clint or Kai Thompson, so 13-5 there to Wolverhampton after 3 races. And in heat number 4 we are going to see a Kings Lynn race winner, Nick Morris, guesting for the injured Michael Palmtoft in the white helmet colour, going round the outside of Leon Flint. Good ride on the third and fourth bends from the former Wolverhampton rider Nick Morris in front, bit of battling behind with Rory Schlein coming around the outside, going past his teammate and also going past Anders Rowe into second place, and Schlein did chase as the race continued, but Nick Morris generally held a good line throughout and came through and won. Became the first race winner of the evening as far as the Kings Lynn Stars are concerned. But a tough start for the visitors. Wolves in control in the early stages, 2 5-1s and 2 3-3s. 4 heats gone. It's Wolverhampton 16, Kings Lynn 8.
Dave, thank you. Well, here at Peterborough, there's just 2 points in it. I have been checking those hashtags. Remember, it is Pet Bell. Lots of you asking about Artem Laguta's injury. I haven't got any information on that, I'm afraid. Okay, stay with us because we've got Heat 5 coming up. We had the Grand Prix in Gorshov at the weekend. It was the first time this season that Dan Bewley hasn't made a semi-final. Robert Lambert and Ty Wifferton did, but their evening finished there.
Semi-final number 2. Tapes up now, we're underway. Good start on the inside from Madsen, but a better one from Lingwin. What a run to the first corner. Here comes Wifferton. Wifferton has come through there, but Leon Lambert is coming through as well, but Leon Madsen, they went either side of Wifferton down the back straight, but Freddie Lingwin, there's just no holding him back. Disappointing in his last qualifying ride, but he fires himself to the front in semi-final number 2.
Unfortunate to miss out on the final. You rode fantastically well tonight, but just didn't quite fall into place.
Yeah, you know, we had a good first 5 heats, and they were important heats. I got the second pick for semi, which was great, as only really two gate positions were working. So we had a good setup, but I had a bit of a gut feeling to change something for the semi, but things were going good. So, you know, it's 50-50 whether you leave it and because you're having success on that kind of setup, or make a change. So yeah, just go with my instincts next time.
Green light is on, tapes are up and we're underway. Schmalzlik once again. Doyle Doyle comes charging across out of gate number 3. What a stunning start. Round the outside, Madsen comes from nowhere. Comes to the front. Superb move there from the Danish rider. Here comes Bartosz Marslik up the inside of Jason Doyle. Surging into second place. Oh, a clash again. Freddie Lindgren just collecting Jason Doyle on the way through. Red lights are on once again.
Yeah, his reaction from the start was so good. Then he gets beat up. There he gets the dirt deflector on the wheel. He's got off the bike. It's a tough one for the referee.
That is a really difficult call because Freddie Lindgren certainly was doing everything he possibly could. Which way is it going to go? Is it going to be Lindgren? Is it going to be Doyle? Doyle will be very aggrieved. Oh, the rider in white's gone.
Again.
Oh, no luck at all for the Australian in the finals this year. Here we go then, third time of asking. Graham Farnan and Gorjov. Tapes up her now. Roaring to the first corner. Smarslik and Lindgren. Lindgren's got there. Leon Madsen, keep your eyes on Madsen. He's going to roar around the outside. Madsen fires himself to the front. Smarslik is relegated to third place. Brilliant move from Leon Madsen. It's worked a treat for him with no rider on gate number 3. And Madsen now beginning to power. And here comes Smarslik round the outside. What a move from the championship leader. Winding it on. Leon Madsen now coming under all sorts of pressure. Smarslik, the door slammed. He's looking for a way through.
Well, we said we begged the question, can Smarslik overtake? I've got a feeling it's coming here. He's not going to go. Oh, he has given it up. Gone straight to the outside. That was a very, very quick decision from Smarslik. He's got to be cutting back now. Got to be.
One last chance now for Bartosz Marslik, right out in the dirt. Leon Madsen has ridden a stormer out in front. One last chance, up the inside, Smarslik and Madsen. He's forced his way to the front. What a ride from Bartosz Marslik.
Unbelievable.
Back-to-back Grand Prix wins. The crowd are on their feet. He is an absolute superstar.
Welcome back to the East of England arena after 4 heats, just 2 points separating the two sides. Before we get on with Heat 5, let's join Scott Nicholls out on the track.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. I just had a quick chat with some of the boys about the start. So you see a few of the boys, some are spinning up, some are lifting. I'm going to try and explain to you and show you what the headache is for the boys. So I'm down here on gate 1 now. I'm kicking here. Now this is really nice and grippy. That looks really good. But look how deep this rut is here compared to the rut literally directly next to it. When you're off that stuff there, and if I come across to this bit here, you can see this is all shiny. There's literally going to be zero grip there. The boys are going to spin up. So as the night goes on, it's really going to become a bit of a headache for the boys because some of them may have to gamble and try and go from like this little piece here, which is literally not much wide, it's less than the width of a tyre. So they could end up cross-rutting. So it's going to be a bit tough. Real quick, just before we go, I always love this little bit. This is the little mechanism they're going to look for the release from the start. Nice big bit to focus on to get that electric start. Over to you, Kelv.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Just more inside of exactly what it's like to be down on the start line and the decisions you have to make when you're up there to try and get away sharpish. And we will keep our eyes on that. So just the 2 points in it. And it's tight. And the Panthers have battled really hard with the Bellevue Aces hitting with 2 5-1s, and then they got that 5-1 in heat number 4 to close the gap right back up again. Heat number 5 on the inside is Benjamin Basso, and we're on board with him. He's in the red helmet colour. Tom Brennan out of gate number 2 in yellow. Richie Worrell out of gate number 3 in blue, and Dan Bewley off the outside in the white helmet colour. I've got to say, on paper, Brennan and Bewley look good here. Got to say, for Basso, who battled hard for his third place first time out, will need to get away well, needs to utilise that inside gate. Richie Worrell, who just ran wide in the first corner, and Charles Wright was able to capitalise, will try and make a decent start and get the better of Brennan on the run to the first corner. Dan Bewley, he's all over the place at the start line there at the moment, but as I say, these are the challenges. I think it's good when Scotty goes down there. It just gives you an idea of what you have to really focus on and try and make that decision, and then trust it to try and get away as well as you can do on that all-important run to the first corner. Riders coming forward now. Start marshal just giving the boys a hurry up. So heat number 5, 13 points to the Aces, 11 to the Panthers. Green light is on, tapes up sharpish, and we're underway. They go roaring into the first corner, and Benjamin Basso's made a smashing start. Here comes Bewley round the outside. Wow, Bewley just generates so much speed out there and just roars to the front. Basso's hanging on in second place with Tom Brennan back in third and Richie Worrell out the back, but there was just no holding Bewley back there. Classy rider, loves a bit of grip on the outside. Probably the best rider in the world, in truth, when he gets that. Just so silky smooth, and he's just clearing off out in front. We're on board with Basso there, looking at the bat of Bewley. Bewley once again electing to ride wide, where everybody else is pretty much hugging the inside. Now the battle for second place between Benjamin Basso and Tom Brennan. Brennan working the inside, coming on stronger, coming on very strong, forcing his way through. Basso there, now trying to respond. It's tight down the back straight, neck and neck as they go into turn 3 for the last time. Gotta say, Benjamin Basso had to work hard there. Bewley wins comfortably, and a really tough fought second place there from Benjamin Basso. I thought for a moment that Brennan had it, but the young Danish rider there really did pull out all the stops to make sure that he hung on to second place. Bewley was comfortable with a stunning move early in heat number 5. So there's Dan Bewley out in front, 3 points for him. Benjamin Basso hanging on for second place, 2 points for him. Tom Brennan back in third place, and Richie Worrell missing out in heat number 5. But Scotty, I know you've had to hot foot it back there, so you might be out of breath. But nonetheless, Bewley looking fabulous, and a good battle for second.
Yeah, it certainly was, Kel. Give me a chance, give me your breath back. But
Come on, mate, deep breaths.
Fantastic ride from Dan Bewley there, Kel. Brilliant. And do you know what? I had the luxury of watching that from the inside, and it was, you probably can't see it so much on the TV, but the way Dan is a light guy, but the way he's just forcing his body weight back into that seat, literally the whole way around the corner, trying to get maximum grip, but staying smooth with it. It really was a pleasure to see. But the battle was behind, but Benjamin Basso and Tom Brennan. Hard move from Tom Brennan there. Hard but fair play to Benjamin. Brave to stay on the outside. You can just see how close they get there. Look at that. Well, there is contact. There is actually a little bit of contact there, but Benjamin Basso, he's a brave rider. Knows how important this meeting is to the Panthers. And he's he's in there. Great ride.
Indeed it was. It was an eye-catching battle for second place there in heat number 5. And I've got to say that I just thought for a moment, because Brennan he learnt his trade, of course, in Eastbourne, so he'll be accomplished around the inside. I thought that Basso had just left the door open enough.
Yeah, the door was open, Kelv, but Basso, he's not going to be denied those points, and he's a hard ride. Like you said, Tom knows how to ride the bike, turn the bike hard, but he's riding very, very well. And I think, I was going to say to you earlier, Kelv, you mentioned about the track. He's changing a little bit now, and I think we're hearing the GPs, the boys going on about setups all the time, but I think right now with that off-camber you mentioned in your track piece, I think line choice now is going to be probably just as important, if not more important, than the setup.
Well, we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. Thanks very much for the moment, Scott. Good work as always. Heat number 6 then, riders up at tapes. Brady Kurtz off the inside in white. Niels Christian Everson off the gate number 2 in red. Keenan Rue out of gate number 3 in yellow, and Ben Cook off the outside in the blue helmet colour. Brady Kurtz, who failed to score in his first ride, and that was a bit of a shock. He made a poor start there off gate 3. He's got that favoured inside gate now this time, and he'll be wanting to make amends effectively for just slipping up in his first ride. Niels Christian Everson, a rider that has a fabulous CV in truth. He's plenty of international experience and success with the Danish team in the past. Keenan Rue, who had a good ride, but Niels Christian Everson just needing to find a little bit more consistency back in the UK. Rob Lyon there, of course, will be desperate for his team now to battle their way back. 13 points for the Panthers to 17 to the Aces. Heat 6, we're away, roaring towards the first corner, and Brady Kurtz has got there. He's got company though, because Niels Christian Everson is coming on strong. Oh my goodness, slammed up against the fence. Certainly young Cook now coming through in the second place, and Brady Kurtz now having to wind it on. It's Keenan Rue that's at the back. Everson has elected to go wide, but Ben Cook, good move from him early on in the race, but Brady Kurtz now beginning to stamp its authority on heat number 6. I say that, spoken too soon, because young Ben Cook is right there. Not too much to choose between the front two, with Everson also in attendance as well. Kurtz this time having to hug the inside. Cook's beginning to find some speed here. Look at him come. He's coming on strong. They almost clash going into the first corner for the last time. Kurtz has moved off the line. Can he find some grip and speed? Because Cook is really riding strongly in second place. Kurtz has had to work really hard. He slams the door shut, had to ride defensive. Good Speedway there. Cook actually nearly drops the bike as he completes the race. And encouraging signs there once again. Got to say Kurtz was a good winner, but he had to work very hard for it because young Ben Cook rode strongly back in second place. A shared heat, but an exciting one nonetheless. Keenan Rue missing out, but for Kurtz, he wins his first race of the evening. The result of heat number 6 is 3 points for Brady Kurtz, 2 points for Ben Cook, and Niels Christian Everson in third, 1 point for him, and Keenan Rue misses out in heat number 6. Good Speedway there. Got to say, for a moment, I thought that Ben Cook was going to be able to find his way through, Scotty, because he was coming on really strong. He's a real small guy as well, isn't he?
He was, Kelvin. That really works to his advantage here. He's a diddy. I mean, you can see him off the outside. He's absolutely tiny, carrying 0 kilos compared to the other boys. And when the track goes slick like it is on the inside, that really played dividends for him. He's made a smart first turn. It's tight there between Brady Kurtz and Niels Christian Everson, but the man to watch is the man with the number 2 on his back there, Ben Cook, up the inside. Now he's just working that inside. Brady Kurtz is thinking he's doing everything right. He's kind of covering pretty much all of the track, but Ben Cook there, look at that, how close that was. His back wheel was so close to that white line. Have to repeat, if both wheels go over, he's going to be out, Kel. But we spoke about line choice, and he certainly chose the fast one there. Brady had to use his keep his wits about him.
He did indeed. He had to work very hard. I sense he was taken by surprise a little there, but just had his wits about him, had to have his wits about him because he responded and in truth had to slam the door shut round that last corner. So Ben Cook's certainly putting himself about in heat number 6. Just the 4 points in it. Panthers hanging tough, that's for sure, with Keenan Rue missing out last time. Heat number 7 is with us now, and we've got Vadim Tarasenko for the second time this evening. He had a smashing start to his evening with a fabulous win from the outside gate in his first ride. He's got the inside gate this time, so I'm sure he'll be relishing the opportunity there. That's working well, the inside gate. Jaimin Lidsey and Charles Ryder out here as well, so this is an attractive looking race for heat number 7. Here we go then, heat number 7 is with us, and on the inside is the Russian rider Vadim Tarasenko in the red helmet colour. Jaimin Lidsey comes out of gate number 2 in white. Hans Andersen, who won heat 2 nicely, comes out of gate number 3 in blue, and Charles Ryder off the outside in yellow. Dan Bewley and Mark Lemon just having a bit of a chat and just reflecting on how their evening's going. They're in front, they're going to get the aggregate point, almost certainly about that, but there's no doubt that the Panthers are keeping them up to their work, and that's encouraging for them. Hans Andersen will be keen. Rob Lyon just having a chat with Benjamin Basso there. Probably, I'd like to think that Rob is complimenting him on his efforts in his last ride, because it certainly was a gutsy ride from young Benjamin Basso. The sort of ride that the Peterborough Panthers fans have become accustomed to seeing from him. A rider with a big future, I would suggest. So here we go then. Heat number 7. Everything to race for here. Home team desperate for a victory. And Anderson just taking his time coming forward now. The other riders are all settled nicely. Yeah, he's in place now. So green light comes on. Brakes are up and we're underway. Terrific start off at gate number 2 there. That was a fabulous start there from Jaimin Lidsey. Wow, where did he find that from? Hans Andersen coming through in the second place. Problems for Charles Wright with a misfire on his bike. But Jaimin Lidsey, the bike absolutely leapt away out of there. Tarasenko now coming through in the second place with Hans Andersen alongside him. Certainly there's no team fighting going on there. Tarasenko probably not quite realising who's quite there with him. But Jaimin Lidsey, what a fabulous start to the race for him, his second outing. When you get a start like that, it's dreamland when the bike reacts so very well. Comfortably out in front, Tarasenko now pushing on in second place. Can he begin to eke into the lead with Lidsey? I suggest it's going to be awfully difficult because the Australian is in fine form. Going to be a shared race with Lidsey out in front. Tarasenko has worked really hard. He's closed the gap. but he's not going to quite get there because literally after the smashing start from gate 2 has won relatively comfortably, and the 4-point margin between the sides is retained. And disappointment for Charles Wright. There was a misfire there and clearly just the loss of power. He had to pull over, but there's no doubt that it's a 3-all. And the result of Heat 7 is with us now. Lidzi out in front, 3 points. Tarasenko back in second place, 2 points. Hans Andersen, 1 point for him, and Charles Wright, a DNF for him. Let's get down to Scotty now. I believe you got some analysis of the racing so far.
I have, Kelvis. From that race previous, I mean, it was a fantastic race from James Lidzi there. Perfect start. But we're talking about line choices, and I just wanted to get this little bit of Ben Cook earlier. Now he comes up the inside of Brady Kurtz. We said about you can get both, or your front wheel, sorry, over the white line. But just take a look in a second just to see how close his back wheel actually is. If I just fast forward a little bit there. There's the white line. There's his back wheel. So you've literally got no gap there hardly at all. If I just clear that, look at that. The boy's got some pretty good spatial awareness. Like you said, lots of the tracks you're able to put your front wheel up to white line, but if there's a curb you can't, Kelvin, and you've ridden here before, Kelvin, it's so tempting to put your back wheel as close as you can to that white line to get up the inside. It nearly worked for Ben Cook, but had that back wheel gone over, he would have been disqualified. But great race. Abby, I believe you've got some reaction down in the pits.
Scotty, well, my reaction at the moment is to head to Monmouth Green and to Dave Rowe and get an update on that meeting there.
Wolverhampton at 16 points to 8 up after 4 heats. It's only getting tougher here for the Kings Lynn Stars. Heat 5 with Steve Worrell in red, taking Thomas Jorgensen in yellow out wide, through on the inside. Ryan Douglas in the blue helmet colour, and a big 5-1 to the home side in Heat 5 to put their lead up over the 10-point mark. 21 points to 9 up with that 5-1 from Worrell and Douglas. And Heat 6 saw Steve Worrell back out again for his regular ride with his regular team partner Sam Masters, going off gates 2 and 4. And there's the outcome once more. Masters with the start to clamp off Nick Morris in white. Round the outside goes Steve Worrell, and that is pretty much job done as far as Wolverhampton are concerned. A second successive 5-1, making it 26 points to 10 after 6 races. Heat number 7, tactical ride then for Kings Lynn. Tax up for Nick Morris in yellow, lifting in white is Nikolai Clint, and Clint gets to the first bend in front. In blue on the outside is Zach Cook, and Zach Cook going round the outside here of Nikolai Clint. Superb ride by Zach Cook, and Morris in yellow on the tack sub, getting past Rory Schlein to a 3-3 situation. And Zach Cook has been so impressive so far. 2 wins from his first 2 rides, and this could be a third, with Kings Lynn running second and third, but Rory Schlein in red climbing all over the back of Nick Morris and Nikolai Clint. Clint pegs the inside off bend 4, but Schlein trying to move round the outside. Morris in second place, Cook way out in front. Schlein looking to get round Clint here off the second bend. He's done so, and now he gets inside Morris. Superb ride by Rory Schlein, goes between the Kings Lynn riders. Morris goes out wide off bend 4 and spins it and goes down. Disaster for Kings Lynn, more trouble for the Stars as Wolverhampton go through. Zach Cook and Rory Schlein, the race is stopped but awarded as a 5-1 in Wolverhampton's favour. A hat-trick of 5-1s. Wolves in total control. Nick Morris up and okay, but a 5-1 to the home side once again. 7 heats gone. Wolverhampton 31, Kings Lynn 11.
Wow, what a scoreline. Okay, we are going to head to a quick break. If you hand over to Discovery Plus all of those tweets that have come in using that hashtag PetBell, these hashtags do make me chuckle, I'm going to pose those questions to Scott Nicholls. So that'll be on Discovery Plus. But here at Peterborough, we've got Heat 8, halfway point of this meeting, coming up after this.
I know the truth, but I can't say that.
Can you say anything? Okay, so I am searching this hashtag. The first one from Graham Hinmore. Where's Scott Nicholls' jazzy shirts gone?
corporate world, I'm afraid I can't have them anymore. But I thought you'd give me a heads up on these. You really put me on the spot.
Well, I'm only getting them live as well. I'm coming through. There is a lot of question, and I will actually ask this because this came from one of the earlier meetings. But why do riders, not always here, obviously at Peterborough, but why do they usually have a home advantage?
Wolverhampton's a great example of that. I mean, they're really crucifying Kings Lynn tonight. It's actually the knowledge of the lines, and it sounds silly that you go, well, surely if everybody knows that first and second bend at Wolverhampton is so crucial, why can't the away riders do it? But it really is an art. When you ride it week in, week out, you know exactly where to turn. Like those boys, if you asked them, they'd probably be able to tell you what airbag they start to turn at, where they make the turn harder and all those things, and that just comes from racing the same track week in, week out.
I am listening to you with one ear.
Are you sure?
And then I'm scrolling down with the others. There's a question.
I didn't know you could read, Abby. Go on.
This is multitasking at its best.
A whole new level.
Other question about what exactly do we mean? I know you and Calvin often use it, but hard charger. When a rider is known, I think Calvin was talking about Benjamin Basso as a real hard charger. What do we mean by that?
Like a forceful rider, not afraid to mix it up. If he sees a gap, he'll go for it. He'll be forceful. If somebody like Tom Brennan trying to run up the inside of him, he won't give him an inch. He'll hold his ground. So forceful is like it is. He's a little warrior.
Yes. Okay. I don't want to ignore the tweets that are coming in because if you're writing in, I want to validate. But there is a lot of question over Artem Laguta. I know it's putting you on the spot as well, but do we know anything about his injury, him riding yesterday in Poland?
I don't know. I mean, that's a tricky one. I mean, as a rider, injuries can be aggravated at any second. All I can say is it's hugely disappointing. He's not at Wolverhampton. I think myself and the world would like to see, the 2021 world champion round a small track. It'd be pretty cool.
So, Calvin, I'm going to bring you in for this next question. And actually, it was Ty Wiffenden at the weekend that spoke to Scotty, and he said how hard it is to get to Sweden to ride, and actually how much you would like to ride in the UK. So the question from Terry Vernon is, who would he ride for in the UK?
Well, he's ridden for Wolverhampton primarily in the past. I'm pretty sure, apart from when he was riding in the lower divisions, that's his only top-line club. So I would think Wolverhampton would be probably favourites for his signature. It was a shock, actually, when he mentioned it to Scotty. It was a great exclusive in reality, and it would be wonderful to see Ty back on these shores riding again. But I would think also Bellevue would be a favourite choice as well. But I would think he may well. He has a closer association with Pete Adams as well, who's the team manager at the Wolves. So I would think they would be favourites.
Agree with that, Scotty?
100%, and to jump in on that, Kelv, as well, I think Ty would actually kind of revel in riding on some smaller tracks and more technical, as opposed to, in Poland and GPs are predominantly big, flat tracks. It'd be, quite nice to have a bit of technicality in his racing.
Okay, Scott, I will give you heads up, possibly next time. But thank you for your answers, and to Calvin too. And we'll be back with the action here around the East of England Arena after this. So the sport's coming your way, a load of cycling, the Giro Donne, Eurosport 1 Live, Friday at 1 p.m. Then we've got the mountain biking, the UCI World Cup, that's Eurosport 1 Friday. Cycling Tour de France at stage 1, and that's this Saturday as well, Eurosport 1 at 11. And sailing the ocean race from Genova, the final import race is on Eurosport 2 live on Saturday. There's only 4 points though here in Peterborough separating these two sides. It's Heat 8 and it's Calvin Tatum.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abby. And just while I've got a couple of moments, I'd like to bring some information to everybody concerned. Ulrich Østergaard, who was part and parcel of the championship winning team, of course, in 2021. He has his farewell meeting on Sunday, the July the 2nd. It starts at 4 o'clock. And well deserved. Østergaard was a stalwart of British Speedway, and if you can get along to that, I'm sure you'll be royally entertained. So 2nd of July at 4 p.m. Now we're at the midway point of this hotly contested Premiership meeting, and it's heat number 8, and the home team are battling hard up against the reigning champions. So heat number 8 then, off the inside is Jordan Jenkins in the blue helmet colour. Good ride from Jenkins last time. Jake Mulford out for his third ride. Gate number 2 in yellow. Gate number 3 in red is Ben Cook, and off the outside is Tom Brennan in white. And there's no doubt that young Ben Cook has found some speed here this evening, and he'll be looking to try and pick up some big points here. Gates 1 and 3 for the home team. They'll be fancying their chances. Brennan, though, you can't discount him. He's a hard charger. And Mulford has been amongst it, but hasn't quite managed to pick up the points he would have liked. Certainly in his first ride, he was in a good place, and then just got just caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, I would suggest. So riders coming forward now. Resumption of racing here in heat number 8. Oh my goodness! Young Ben Cook's just gone charging into the tapes there. There will be a delay as a consequence of that. He'll be excluded. Tapes all wrapped up around his bike as well, so we'll just wait for that all to be sorted out. Don't know if he had a problem there, because he got going very quickly indeed. Sometimes you can have an issue with the clutch, but that's a shame for the home team. Yeah, he just dropped the clutch too early. You can see it clearly there, just let it go before the tapes have gone, and that's a blow for the home team. They don't really want to be making mistakes like that, really. It's a shame. Rob Lyons will be frustrated with that. So we'll wait and see if there's what the outcome is there. It's clear. The rules will give him no leeway at all. He will be excluded from heat number 8. And while you can see clearly the red exclusion light on. That's a shame for Ben Cook, because he'd ridden really well in his previous ride, where he picked up a handy second place. Very nearly got to the front as well, so he was looking good. So let's just get some reflection now with Scotty down in the pits.
Yeah, thanks, Kelvin. I'm just going to get my old doodler out again. It's just to emphasise the importance on the start. So earlier, you can see in the background, I said about the starts being really unpredictable, and then riders going from fresh all the time, because once you've gone out of a fresh bit, it's really quite slick. And if you look back here, there's all these lines where they've all come. And if you look at this one here in particular, those two really crisscross. And you'll know, Kel, from your days, that might be a good little piece of dirt, but you're going to go straight into those crisscrosses and lose all your traction. So these boys right now are going to have a real headache of knowing where to go later on. Like right now, it's not too bad, because you can see in between there's a few fresh bits that they can go from. But once those fresh bits are gone, the riders are going to have to elect to go from a bit that's not very good, and they're going to just have to roll the dice and hope they can get there, Kelv.
Indeed they are. Thank you for that, Scott. There's some more information I can bring you as well. Ben Cook's going to go off 15 metres here, Scott, so they're obviously trusting in his speed and feel that's the best option. So,
he's a quick little lad, Kelv, and it almost looked to me as though, in some ways, I'd be interested to know, it almost looked like his fingers almost slipped off the clutch. It kind of didn't look like he tried to anticipate it. Kind of looked like he almost kind of just slipped. I don't know if you can see here. I don't know if you can see that. If I go back again, if we come in vision, Kelv, like, if you can see, if I press play there, just watch his fingers. It's almost like you look at his whole body language and everything doesn't really tally up with him trying to make a start. You look at his throttle hand. His throttle hand goes off straight away. Look, he's blipped. His throttle hand has blipped. The clutch has jumped. It's almost to me as though he's kind of tried to, I don't know, it doesn't look like he's tried to anticipate. I feel like he may have just slipped the clutch in a pure mistake.
Shame, but he's been penalised, and he's off 15 metres now in the restart of heat number 8. Inside gate in blue then is Jordan Jenkins. Gate number 2 in yellow is Jake Mulford. 15 metres for Ben Cook off of gate number 3 in red, and Tom Brennan off the outside in white. Shame for Cook, but he's going to have to work overtime now if he wants to get amongst the points. It can work. I have seen races won from 15 metres at the National Speedway Stadium up in Manchester. Not always easy to do, so here we go then, second time of asking. We're underway, they go roaring into the first corner. Jenkins is there, Brennan's made a smashing start coming from the outside there. Jenkins into second place with Mulford back in third, and Ben Cook now with work to be done. Can he make his presence felt? Certainly Tom Brennan showed a great lot of skill there, got that bike working, a treat coming from the outside gate. No doubt about that, probably actually helped by the fact that there was nobody alongside him who was able to really cut across really quickly. Brennan out in front then, chased hard by Jordan Jenkins back in second place. Mulford there in third. Cook has closed the gap, but still once again a lot of work for him to do. So difficult to make up the ground here at the East of England Arena. Into the last lap, looking like it's going to be a 4-2 to the visitors. They'll be grateful for that. Brennan riding well here, handy rider to have in heat number 8. Mulford now. Mulford trying hard to get round the outside of Jenkins. Can he get there? It's going to be close, very close. Wow, that really did tighten up. Big time on the run to the line. I think that Jenkins has held on, but a good effort from Mulford to try and get amongst the bigger points there and try and snatch second place away on the run to the line. Brennan with a smashing move. Look at this. This gets really can't see there. He's under the air fence, or the safety fence rather, on the start and finish line. This will give us a much better view of it. Tight. I'll tell you what, I reckon he's got it. He has! What an effort from Jake Mulford. Smashing ride from him. Disappointment for the home team all round there, with the Ben Cook having to go off 15 metres. Jordan Jenkins being out-battled on the run to the line. Wow, that was a good performance from the Bellevue Aces that time. So, result of heat number 8 then is Tom Brennan with a fine ride out in front. Smashing effort from Jake Mulford back in second place. Jordan Jenkins being relegated to third, and Ben Cook, no real surprise, missing out in heat number 8. And Scott, wow, that was a surprise. I thought that was set there, but a great effort from young Jake Mulford at the end of the race.
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, like you said, Kel, it was a good start from Tom Brennan there, but took full advantage of the fact that Ben Cook wasn't there. And I'm going to need my Tipex, mate, because I put I put Jordan in for second there. But fair play to Jake Mulford. He didn't give up. And are you surprised that the outside has not really started to come into play more? But bear in mind the fact that Dan Bewley used it in race 1.
I am, actually. I thought that would actually, at this stage, at the midway point, actually become really the fastest way round this track tonight.
Sorry to cut in, Kel, but just look here. Does Jordan Jenkins actually shuts off momentarily just before the line, and could that be that pivotal point where Jake Mulford kept it wound on and just nipped it?
Yeah, it could possibly be. Yeah, he just eased off just a fraction too early. Certainly he was aware that Mulford was alongside him, and whatever happened there, it was a disappointing outcome to heat number 8 for the home team, and the Aces now have coming through into an 8-point lead at coming into heat 9. But there is a change here for the lineup for heat number 9, where Tarasенko will come in as a tack sub, I believe, for Richie Worrell. So Tarasenko, who has got 5 points from his opening 2 rides, so I think it's a good move. Richie Worrell has found points hard to come by tonight, and Tarasенko has looked pretty impressive. A match-up once again between Tarasenko and Brady Kurtz. They had that match-up in their first outing in heat number 4, and Tarasenko will go from the inside gate here, so an opportunity and a smart move, I would suggest, by Rob Lyon, the manager of the Panthers. So we're on board with Benjamin Basso again, the hard-charging Benjamin Basso, and I think Scotty explained what that was all about. So heat number 9. On the inside is Vladimir Tarasenko, the tactical substitute for Richie Worrell. Gate number 2 in white is Brady Kurtz. Benjamin Basso out of gate number 3 in red. Keenan Rue, the guest for the Bellevue Aces for the injured Norick Bladorn, will go from the outside in the yellow helmet colour in heat number 9. Alarm bells ringing here for the home team. They're going to need a response now. They brought out the big gun here in Tarasenko, who's looked mightily impressive here this evening. Benjamin Basso also, if I fancy if he can get away and a good run round the first corner, he's got the speed to stay in the hunt here and pick up some very useful points. Gates 1 and 3 are useful, certainly are, but the Aces have made a stern stuff, that's for sure. So what can Tarasenko do this time? He's beaten Kurtz earlier on. Can he do it again? Kurtz won his second outing, so he'll be feeling a lot better. Here we go then. Crucial time in the meeting for the home team. Tapes up. What a start from Tarasenko. Wow, he has just flown out of the gate, and he's joined by his partner there, Benjamin Basso. What a way to respond. Kurtz back in third place. He elects to go to the outside, And will it work for him, because the two home riders are tucked up the inside here with Benjamin Basso, certainly hoping that his teammate can have a look over his shoulder and just work it out. Basso now moving to the outside, has had to, because Vladimir Tarasенko has just been hugging that inside line. Here they go, smash and response. Brady Kurtz now coming under all sorts of pressure from Keenan Roux, getting forced out of the way, and Tarasенko in the move. The tactical substitute here is working a treat. Into the last lap they go. Basso all over the back. I don't think Tarasенko has looked back once. It's not been a great advert for team riding here, but they're just about hanging on there. Kurtz now. Kurtz coming on strong with one last blast round the outside. Will it work? No, Basso's done a great job there. It's a super ride from Tarasенko after a smashing start, but he didn't do his teammate any favours at all. But in the end, the result is what matters, and they pick up a very valuable 5 points, and the home team are fighting hard. Brilliant ride from Tarasенko, and I would suggest an even better one from Benjamin Basso, because he really did have to ride out of his skin there to hang on to second place. Smashing effort all round from the home team, and they force their way back in there, and they close the gap to 4 points. They half the deficit in heat number 9. Tarasенko out in front, 3 points for him. Benjamin Basso with a super ride in second place, 2 points there. Brady Kurtz relegated to third place, and Keenan Roux failing to score for the second time this evening. But Scotty, that was a vital race, and the home team come through in flying colours.
That was a huge race, Kelvin, and Vadim, my God, his reactions were absolutely spot on off gate 1 there. Some would have thought possibly anticipated, but it was just bang on the money. But for poor Benjamin Basso, hard charger, he doesn't want to have to hard charge on his teammate. No. But Kelv, how frustrating is it? It's great to see Vadim, but how frustrating is it when your teammate doesn't look for you? And you can see with this onboard, Benjamin, we don't have brakes, but somehow he was having to put the brakes on.
Well, it would have been hugely frustrating, Scotty, because he would have been very much aware that he's got a big hitter behind him in Brady Kurtz, and there's no doubt that he would have been feeling certainly vulnerable there, but he did certainly have to ride all over the track. But for the moment, let's get some reaction with Abby.
Thanks, Cal. Rob, really useful tactical sub.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I mean, it was gate 1's not the best at the moment, but he made the most of it and got a cracking gate and managed to hold on. It was a bit hairy behind him with Ben, but yeah, managed to get a 5-1, which is what we needed.
He's really producing the goods. We saw him obviously in Bellevue at the National Speedway Stadium, saw what he was capable of. Similar track here, but it seems to be igniting the spirit in this team. Yeah,
that's what it needs. We've missed it all year, really, and yeah, so far so good. 8 out of 9 is a good return, isn't it? So a few more of those will help us along the way, I'm sure.
Rob, thank you. Back to Calvin.
Thank you, Abby, and Rob will be pleased with that. Making a move like that and it works out, then all of a sudden you feel absolutely justified in that decision. It was a one that he had to make, and it proved to be fruitful. So they're just the 4 points back now, and they're looking for a win, and they try and keep the momentum going here in heat number 10 with young Ben Cook out again, who will not want to make the same mistake he made in the previous race. He's got speed, looks very encouraging, and if he can just get away sharpish from the inside, then I'm sure he'll be amongst the points here in heat number 10. Jaimin Lidzi out here for the Aces. He's off the outside, and Jaimin is unbeaten so far in his first 2 rides. Just a few last minute adjustments there for Niels Christian Iversen. And he's now on his way round to the tapes. Just a bit of a squirt of chain lube on the front primary chain. Just talking about the front primary chains, Jake Mulford is actually using the new belts from Dayco here tonight, so interesting to see, just like Freddie Lindgren is also using the same belt drive in the Grand Prix. Heat number 10 then, and Ben Cook is off the inside in blue, Charles Wright off the gate number 2 in yellow, Niels Christian Iversen coming out of gate number 3 in red, and Jaimin Lidzi, who is unbeaten, will go from the outside in the white helmet colour. Once again, can the home team just build some momentum in this match? They have battled awfully hard. They've seen themselves go 8 points down. They've reduced it to 4. So you've got to believe that they can just utilise those inside gates once again here. Ben Cook If he can reproduce the sort of start that Tarasенko did in the previous race, wow, he'll have every chance of winning the race. So here we go then. Charles Wright will be hoping for the gremlins to have disappeared. Away we go, hit the first corner, and it's Ben Cook. Here we've got around the outside, Jaimin Lidzi doing awfully hard, pushing harder with Ben Cook, but Ben Cook holds firm there down the back straight. He's going to have to really wind it on. Certainly Jaimin Lidzi is in close attendance here with Charles Wright back in third place. Jaimin Lidzi once again, yes, he's done it. His persistence has paid off there big time, and he fires himself to the front. There's a battle at the back with Niels Christian Iversen now slipping into third place, and that's a handy third place to reduce the deficit. But there's no doubt that Jaimin Lidzi, in the form of his life, earlier in the season that just would not have happened. And all of a sudden the confidence is oozing from every pore from Lidzi. Got round the outside of Cook. Cook's hanging tough though in second place with Iversen back in third. But there's no doubt Jaimin Lidzi going to remain unbeaten. 3 out of 3, smashing effort from him. It's a shared heat. Cook had speed though, he could ill afford to relax for too much. Could not take his eyes off the game there at all, because Ben Cook was lurking, but a great effort round the outside from Jaimin Lidzi to force his way to the front in heat number 10. Result then is Lidzi, another 3 points, remains unbeaten. Ben Cook, that's an encouraging ride from him, 2 points. Niels Christian Iversen working hard to come through into third to get the better of Charles Wright, who misses out in heat number 10. And Scotty, Jaimin Lidzi quite clearly is full of confidence, and it just shows you how much it plays with a Speedway rider, because early on in the season it just wasn't there.
It certainly does, Kelvin, and quite often so many people will say, oh, what's he changed? Has he changed engine tuners or sprockets or whatever it is? And quite often, as you know, Kelvin, it's just a matter of getting a couple of wins under your belt, and like you said, that confidence showing there. Brilliant move to go around the outside of Ben Cook, and Iversen here in the red, he's struggling a little bit, just lifts there too much going to the first turn. That enables Jaimin Lidzi, and just look at the way he was arching his back into that seat, trying to get all the traction there, trying to get the bike to run around the outside of Ben Cook. But like you said, Kel, full of confidence from Jaimin Lidzi.
Was indeed. It was a fine effort initially from Ben Cook. I think he sort of held firm there, but the second time around, similar move, and that outside line there just picking up a bit more grip, and Jaimin Lidzi was able to fire himself to the front. So riders being released now for heat number 11, where we'll see Tarasенko and Dan Bewley going head to head for the first time. This should be pretty tasty. Bewley unbeaten after his first 2 outings, looking majestic in truth here tonight, Bewley so far. But Tarasенko with just dropping the 1 point so far this evening. That's a very handy return, but it's a handy pairing from the aces this time with Bewley and Brennan. Brennan winning heat number 8 in fine style. And Bewley coming up to the tapes now. Heat number 11 then. Dan Bewley will go from the inside in the white helmet colour. Vadim Tarasенko out of gate number 2 in red. Tom Brennan from gate number 3 in yellow. And Hans Andersen going from the outside with the blue helmet colour on. He's got 4 points. He's going along okay, Hans Andersen. He's had some disappointing returns this year, but certainly encouraging signs this evening, and needs to keep it rolling. As I say, there are some big hitters here for the Bellevue Aces, and are off the favoured gates. So Tarasенko, if he can do something similar like he did last time as a tag sub, and just hold Bewley at bay round the inside, then who knows? It could be quite an entertaining heat number 11. 4 points in it, 28 points for the home team, 32 points for the champions, the Bellevue Aces, who sit on top of the table right now, and going along very nicely indeed. Their form has been pretty solid. Coming forward now, riders now pretty set. Heat number 11. Bewley unbeaten on the inside, can he remain so? He's missed the start. Tarasenko's made a smashing one. Once again, he has got his clutch in hand on there. Absolutely flew away there. Down the outside here. Now comes Tom Brennan round the outside. Tarasenko under pressure from Dan Bewley as well. This could be quite an entertaining race now. Bewley electing to go the long way round in turns 1 and 2. Roaring round there, but look at Tarasenko. He's making the bike work. Oh, Bewley roaring into the bottom corner once again, electing to get in the dirt. Winding it on, trying to find more and more speed. He loves it out there, but Tarasenko's got speed. Hans Andersen is at the back, Brennan in third, but the Russian out in front is looking so very strong. Now Bewley electing to follow Vadim Tarasenko out in front. He's closed the gap. Can he find a little bit of extra grip? I'll tell you what, Tarasenko's bike is working a treat, particularly around turns 1 and 2. Smashing effort from him on his debut here at the East of England Arena. What a ride it is! Fabulous stuff. Moves on to 11 points out of 12. What a home debut. And that was really quite a spectacular ride when you consider the quality of the opposition there. Made a superb start out of gate 2. His bike just roared to the first corner. And I'll tell you what, he's only had 4 rides here. And I would suggest he's already the fan favourite here at the East of England Arena here in Peterborough. Smashing stuff from Vadim Tarasenko here tonight. Really is doing sterling work. So the result of heat number 11 for you is 3 points for Tarasenko, 2 points for Dan Bewley in second place, third place for Tom Brennan, 1 for him, and Hans Andersen missing out in heat number 11, but it's still just 4 points in it, 31 points to 35. But I tell you what, Scott, this is a fabulous home debut from Vadim Tarasenko.
It's unbelievable, Kelvin. He's certainly got his gating gloves on. It's absolute dynamite, and to get across Dan Bewley, gate 1 might not be working quite so good, but Dan certainly no slouch, a Grand Prix rider. But Vadim rode a brilliant race there. He was under an awful lot of pressure from the outside, early doors from Tom Brennan here, and then obviously later on Dan Bewley. And Dan Bewley certainly doesn't give up. He's all action. And interesting you said they're working the bike, Kelvin. A lot of these boys are, but the funny thing that I find, I know like the older generation will say that they lift their right leg off the footrest, which actually loses traction off the turn. But nonetheless, great race from Vadim here. A lot of pressure from Dan Bewley. Like you said, 11 points returned from 12 is a pretty decent start. So in the meantime, we're going to have a little break, and down to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. Yeah, Dan Bewley, an exceptional rider. Busy few days. He was in Gorshof on the Grand Prix, and then he raced for Wroclaw and here this evening in Peterborough. But he missed the start, and it was a cracking heat between him and Vadim Tarasenko. But Vadim Tarasenko, what a debut in the Panthers kit he's having on their home track tonight. Okay, we're going to hand for a quick break, and we'll be back for more action after this.
Yeah, so we heard earlier Kelvin Tatum said about Jake Mulford using a belt. So what's he mean a belt? It's not actually a belt to hold your jeans up, it's far from it. This is the belt, it's a Dayco belt. Now, if I just put the box down here. This is just like a fan belt or a cam belt you see on a car. If you can see, I'll just put it a bit closer to the camera there. It's got a carbon. It's this material on the inside here that's interesting here, that white bit there. It actually allows the belt to kind of slip and slide a little bit, because some of the boys have been having clutch drag with these belts, but there's less drag, there's less resistance, actually allow the bike to produce more power. I know Kelvin has used these, and a lot of the long track boys over the years have used these in the past because they gain more power, and also the bike, I've not experienced it too much, Kel, so hopefully you can bring into it. You get kind of less vibration with the bike, and it's a smoother ride, I believe.
Absolutely right, yeah. There's no question that the bike runs very smoothly with it. There's a bit more power from the engine. That's not always what you want from a Speedway bike, but clutch drag up until this point has been a major problem, and I think that's why a lot of the guys on the Speedway that have tried them have then actually taken them off. But that new belt that you've got in your hand there with that PTFE coating on the inside of the belt allows the belt, as you say, just to not stick onto the clutch drum and onto the pulley itself. And so it's actually reduced clutch drag significantly, and I know that Freddie Lingman has been using it pretty much throughout this season. And
so we've seen Freddie have them, and he's enjoying the success, isn't he? It's a case of, we're a bit like sheep, and once one has the success from it, it kind of falls into place from there.
Indeed, you know, and I think that also the bike's a lot cleaner. There's a lot less work for the mechanics, of course, because there's no oil and muck that's all over the left-hand side of the engine. But nonetheless, I think that in time, I think we'll see more and more riders adopting that setup. It's something that has been around for a while, and I think with progress and development with the belt, I think it should be pretty popular in the upcoming seasons.
Also, to touch on that, Kelv, you said about oil, the mechanics like riders don't like that oil too, but also we run a dry clutch on the Speedway bike, so if any oil goes in there, the riders will have clutch drag and clutch slip. So it's another bonus, the fact that you don't have all that muck around the clutch.
Absolutely, you just get a bit of dust, you can just literally wipe it off, and so there's a lot of positives, but obviously it may just take a bit of time for riders to be totally convinced, because the bike does feel slightly different from the chain. It's, as you say, it smooths it out, and the reaction, particularly when you drop the clutch, it's not quite the same, but this new belt, I don't think it's too far off.
I don't think it is, mate, but I've been told that's where we can belt up and crack on.
So after 11 heats, it's just 4 points separating these two sides, 31-35. So a morale-boosting performance for the Panthers, which is what they needed. And there does seem a good energy. Saw Benjamin Basso just smiling in this team meeting. Hans Andersen just being really supportive of the guys. A real spirit, and you can feel the difference. It has been a torrid start to the season for the Panthers. Bellevue, on the other hand, have had a cracking season. Mark Lemon must be so happy with his guys. They are defending champions, of course. Let's head over to Monmouth Green then and get the latest now from Davo.
Wolverhampton leading Kings Lynn by 20 points after Heat 7. This is Heat 8 with Wolverhampton again going to the first bend in front. Leon Flint in blue leading Steve Worrell in red. Confidence boosting race victory here for Leon Flint. A 5-1 once again to the home side to go 36 points to 12 in front. Wolverhampton in complete control. Here's the action from Heat 9. Rory Schlein and Ryan Douglas up against Nick Morris and Simon Lambert. It's Douglas in blue who gets to start, but he locks up slightly, and around the outside goes Nick Morris in white, and also Simon Lambert in yellow gets around everyone. And Kings Lynn have 1 and 2 into the third bend in Heat 9 with the Wolves Riders trying to split them up. Rory Schlein in red charging hard down the inside, but still Lambert and Morris again locks up slightly on turn 1 with Douglas trying to go round him in blue. Lambert still with the advantage. Kings Lynn on a 5-1 in Heat 9, but what can Ryan Douglas and Rory Schlein do about it? Still Nick Morris holds that second place. Now he goes inside his teammate Simon Lambert. Lambert back round the outside, and Kings Lynn still have this 5-1 situation, although here's the cut back by Ryan Douglas in blue as Lambert goes wide off the fourth bend, and through on the inside goes Douglas. Lambert will try and ride it out there as they start the last lap, and he's somewhat out of shape there. That might give Schlein the chance in blue, and meanwhile Douglas trying to put a challenge in on Nick Morris. Still neck and neck into bends 3 and 4. Schlein gets inside. Simon Lambert forces him wide, and Wolverhampton will get a 3-3 out of an exciting Heat 9, making it 39 points to 15. But then things got much tougher again for the Kings Lynn Stars. Heat number 10, the Sam Masters Steve Worrell combination in full effect once again, forcing Nikolai Clint in white out wide as Sam Masters in red goes through on the inside. Kings Lynn's record round Wolverhampton down the ears is not particularly strong, and this meeting is certainly going very much the home side's way. And this is Heat number 11, the very impressive Zach Cook on his way to a 4th successive victory, heading home his teammate Rory Schlein over Chris Harris and Thomas Jorgensen. And 11 heats gone. It's Wolves 49, Kings Lynn 17.
Dave, thank you. Well, here in Peterborough, we're going out for Heat 12, and it's Jamin Lindsay who's been unbeaten so far. Will it remain that way? Let's head now to Kelvin.
Yes, thank you very much, Abby. And it's a tight meeting. The aggregate score is it's going to go the way of the Bellevue Aces, of course, having won the first leg by 20 points. That can't happen now with heats running out, so they've got a point in the bag there. So there's no doubt that it's all about the result here this evening. And the home team, that's what it's all about for them. They just want to restore some confidence. They are battling awfully hard, and they're 4 points down, and with the 4 races to come. So they can do it, but they're going to have to work very hard indeed. So heat number 12 then, off the inside is Keenan Rue in the yellow helmet colour as a guest here tonight for the Bellevue Aces. Benjamin Basso out of gate number 2 in red. Jamin Lindsay unbeaten so far out of gate number 3 in white, and off the outside is Jordan Jenkins in the blue helmet colour. Lindsay is riding out of his skin right now, full of confidence and flying. Benjamin Basso will have to work hard here to try and get the better of him. And Keenan Rue will be a touch disappointed, having failed to score in his last 2 outings after an encouraging second place first time. So he's got that inside gate, and he'll be hoping to take full advantage. A bit of water's gone on the track, so it might be a little greasy in this one. So trying to nip away out of the start is going to be really important. But Lindsay last time had to work hard to get the better of Ben Cook, which he did second time around, but young Ben Cook certainly made him work for it. So crucial times once again. Not too much to choose between the sides here tonight. It's home team have been inspired by their new signing here. Tarasенko has done smashing work. Niels Christian Everson looking for more as well. Here we go then, heat number 12 takes her up, and we're into the first corner. Basso there really working hard. Here comes Jamin Lindsay once again round the outside. Wow, that Australian rider really in top form. Certainly it's a smashing effort from him. Keenan Rue now certainly coming on strong, certainly looking good. But look at Jordan Jenkins, fabulous ride from him, fantastic. Bars himself to the front and lowers the colour of Jamin Lindsay for the first time tonight, potentially. Jordan Jenkins now slamming the door shut. Here comes Keenan Rue, he's now amongst it as well, roaring round the outside. Keenan Rue certainly making his presence felt. Oh, Jenkins is vulnerable down the back straight. Smashing Speedway race here in heat number 12. Jenkins on the inside. Keenan Rue now coming on strong. It's going to get there, there's a lap to go. Round the outside, getting a little bit of a grip. He's got himself to the front. Oh my goodness gracious me, now Lindsay's come back up the inside. Back into second place. Benjamin Basso round the outside. Oh my goodness, that was close once again on the run to the start and finish line. Race of the night, comfortably. Keenan Rue used the outside route to his benefit. Jamin Lindsay, they're coming through late on in the race. Really was an action-packed 4 laps there. Benjamin Basso then responding. It got very close on the run to the line. So we've got Keenan Rue out in front. Benjamin Basso there right off the safety fence. Jamin Lindsay there. He lifts. Wow, the inside view, I believe, will give us a much better view. This will be the one that can tell us. He lifts, but he's got there. I think he's got there. And I think that the young Danish rider has managed to claw his way back into second place, right on the run to the checkered flag. What a race it was. Jamin Lindsay there just dropping points for the first time this evening. I'm sure it was very much entertaining there. Scotty, what are your thoughts on that one? That was a fabulous race.
Oh, mate, I feel so bad for Jordan Jenkins, bless him. He rode the race of his life. He's stoned last here, does everything right on this first lap. Jamin Lindsay, the man to beat there in the white, gets the edge of Benjamin Basso. But Jordan Jenkins, he's kind of put there unawares, really, not really necessarily the line he possibly would have gone for. But Jamin Lindsay has a look, sees him there. And from this point here, Jordan Jenkins rides a perfect race. But at the back there, Keenan Rue's winding it up. He's using that dirt that we spoke about earlier, the Kelv, that wasn't working. It started to work towards the end, but got a feel for poor Jordan. He goes from first to last in one corner here.
Yeah, I just wonder whether, Scotty, that the little bit of water that's gone down has made the inside greasy, and that's why the outside began to work in that one.
Yeah, it certainly has made it a little bit greasy, but Benjamin Basso there, I mean, I think he clips the fence there, gets the unwanted lift, but that unwanted lift actually gave him the potentially 2 points on the line. An exceptionally close race, and Keenan Rue's had a tough night, but here we can see again.
Yeah, I reckon he's got there. I reckon he's got there, Scotty.
I think you're right, Kelv. He has, yeah, definitely from that view there.
Yeah.
It's 2 points and a much needed 2 points from Benjamin Basso.
Indeed it was, but nonetheless it was a heat advantage to the Bellevue Aces, and they got a 6-point lead. Keenan Rue wins the race, 3 points for him. Benjamin Basso, the hard-charging Benjamin Basso, back in second place, 2 points. Jarman Lidzi drops points for the first time this evening, 1 point for him, and Jordan Jenkins, the luckless Jordan Jenkins, failing to score, and that was quite remarkable, having ridden such a strong race for so long. The big heat 13 then, 6 points in it. The Bellevue Aces beginning to inch their way to another victory here tonight, and they're going to they've got a smashing pair out here. This is a superb lineup here for heat number 13 with Everson, Tarasenko, Bewley and Kurtz. I mean, that's top quality, that's for sure, and let's hope that it's a top quality race. Certainly heat number 12 was. So number 13's got a little to live up to, that's for sure. Tarasenko going great guns, has only dropped 1 point tonight. Bewley likewise. Heat number 13 then is with us, and what a lineup it is. On the inside in the red helmet colour is Niels Christian Everson. Gate number 2 in white is Dan Bewley. Vadim Tarasenko at a gate number 3 in blue, and Brady Kurtz off the outside in yellow. 4 points from 3 rides is well, I would have thought Brady would have been looking for a touch more than that, but it has been a difficult night for him. But this is really crunch time for the home team. They need to try and take advantage of the inside gates. Everson has been off the pace so far tonight with 3 third places so far this evening, so needs to try and find a start here if he can. Maybe he needed to have had a chat with Tarasenko before this one, because he's been trapping like a demon here tonight. Really has been electric away from the tapes. We'll need to do it again. Everybody keenly looking on. As I say, the Bellevue Aces are in a strong position with a 6-point lead with the 3 races to come, but the result is still up for grabs, that's for sure. It is not done and dusted yet. Heat 13, always a big race, and here tonight even more so for the home team. Here we go, the tapes are up, away we go. Tarasenko's missed it for the first time. Everson's there, Bewley there alongside him, a bit untidy, but round the outside. Kurtz has made a smashing effort there. Bewley now coming through into second place with Everson up high and wide. Oh, Bewley's gone across the front of Everson. Everson now powering back up the inside, trying to repay the compliment. Bewley read that beautifully. Absolutely textbook move from there. Just allowed him to go up on the inside. Just hesitated momentarily and then fired himself back into second place. Kurtz, who hasn't had a great night. This is a great ride from the captain. Round the outside, Tarasenko for the first time this evening, just finding it tough out there this evening. And this is a huge moment. This is going to push the Bellevue Aces, if they hang on out in front, to within touching distance of winning the meeting here at the East of England Arena. Down the back straight for the last time. Certainly it was a very attractive lineup. And Dan Bewley and Brady Kurtz have done the business there for the team in heat number 13. They move on to 44 points. And, they stretch the gap to 10 points for 34 for the home team. 1 more point will see them there. Big result for the Bellevue Aces there in heat 13. Brady Kurtz out in front. Super ride from him. Dan Bewley, what a smart customer he is. 2 points for him. Niels Christian Everson back in third, and Tarasenko missing out for the first time this evening. But Scotty, I know it was a good ride from Kurtz, but it was a smashing performance from Dan Bewley with the battle with Everson.
It certainly was, Kelby. Got some rough custard there in the first turn from Everson. They know how important this is, but Dan Bewley's a class act. And Everson, and you spoke in your track piece earlier, Kelv, about the racing lines and how the track can go slightly off camber here, and Dan Bewley, Everson tries to return the favour, but like you said, Dan Bewley read that perfect, turns back early, doesn't have to lock or scrub any of that speed off the bike, and that first and second bend on the exit, that what we call the pit turn, does go off camber, and unless there's enough material up there, you're going to be hung high and dry, which Everson was. You can see Everson there, his body language, puts his leg back because he doesn't want to shut the throttle off. He wants to challenge as hard as he can on Dan Bewley, but Dan Bewley, we know what he's capable of when he gets those wheels in line. He checks out, and a much better return there for Brady Kurtz as well. He's had a tough night.
Yeah, it's his second win of the night, but he's had a couple of sort of blips as well. But a big Heat 13 and a good race to win. And for the Bellevue Aces, they've certainly put in a huge performance there in heat number 13, just when it was required, and they've got a little bit of a comfort zone, and now they're looking red-hot favourites to pick up 3 points here this evening by winning the meeting, and of course also picking up the aggregate bonus points as well. So heat number 14, and got to believe that it could well be all over here, but the home team will want to keep pushing on. Pride at stake, of course. They've showed good endeavour tonight, Peterborough Panthers, but they've just come up against a team that are just that little bit better, a bit more confidence about them. And when you've got riders like Kurtz and Bewley, certainly, and that man, Jaimin Lidsey, they are quite a force to be reckoned with, the champions. So heat number 14, just waiting for the last rider to come round here. Richie Worrell, who was replaced a little earlier on by Tarasенko, hasn't been his night. Heat number 14 then. Charles Wright will go from the inside in the white helmet colour. Hans Andersen out of gate number 2 in blue. Jake Mulford out of gate number 3 in yellow. And Richie Worrell will go from the outside in the red helmet colour. Tough times for the Peterborough Panthers, but sometimes your luck's just not in. And tonight they have showed great endeavours. I repeat myself there, but and for so long it looked like they were going to be able to really take it to the Bellevue Aces, but that's a big blow in the last couple. 4-2 to the Aces, and then the huge 5-1 in the previous race. They are within touching distance now. So here we go then. This could well decide the outcome of the evening. Heat number 14. Lights are on and we're underway. Into the first corner. Mulford made a terrible start there. Hans Andersen up the inside, but Charles Wright has responded. And round the outside comes Richie Worrell. Best performance from Worrell so far this evening. He slipped into second place. And Hans Andersen back in third. Charles Wright hasn't had that good an evening, but I tell you what, he's come good right at the time his team needed. He can stay there. That will clinch the meeting for the Bellevue Aces, and they will go on to win. Richie Worrell, though, certainly winding it on in second place, giving it absolutely everything. Jake Mulford also electing to try the outside line as well, with Hans Andersen back in third. But out in front, the former British champion, Charles Wright, doing the business in his final outing tonight, into the last lap. Winding it on out in front. Richie Worrell doesn't appear to have too many answers right now. And Charles Wright, after having a disappointing night, is going to end up winning the race that actually clinches victory here for the Bellevue Aces in the East of England Arena. Congratulations to them. They march on with a useful away performance, that's for sure. And Charles Wright, after those problems he had earlier on, puts those behind him and picks up a handy win in Heat 14. Richie Worrell will be relatively happy. So disappointment for the home team, but I'm sure they'll keep battling away. But the result of Heat number 14 is Charles Wright out in front, 3 points. Richie Worrell back in second place, 2 for him. Hans Andersen in third, 1, and Jake Mulford missing out in Heat number 14. So the meeting belongs to the Bellevue Aces. They have battled hard tonight, and we've got one more race to come. But in truth, Scotty, that was pretty much as we expected. They're going into Heat number 14.
Yeah, sadly it was for the Panthers, Kelv. Charles Wright there in vision. Important for Charles to finish off with a win. You know, when you've had a tough night like he's had, kind of just to redeem a little bit of that pride in yourself. But we can see here again, the Panthers boys don't quite make the start. Hans Andersen cuts back up the inside, takes full advantage of getting his front wheel over that white line, but Charles Wright just has too much speed. And Richie Worrell here in the red, he challenged him hard, he pushed hard, and he was riding that outside line. And as a rider, that can be so frustrating because you feel like you make some gains. Like at this point here, Richie Worrell's thinking, right, back was in the dirt, getting all that traction, I'm reeling him in. At that point, you feel committed to stick to that line. But just didn't work. Charles Wright just rode a very conservative line, but it was the fast line. It was a line that bagged him with 3 points and ultimately sealed the night for the Bellevue Aces. So Charles Wright there has a quick look over his shoulder. There's no point looking back. The night is done. And there you go. We're going to take a quick break. Down to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you so much. Well, the home team have really fought hard tonight. They've shown their resilience and their character, but it's not to be. Bellevue Aces, they've got the win on the evening. They also have picked up the aggregate point, but Heat 15, it's always a big one. You've got your 4 best riders of the night, so stay with us and use that hashtag PetBell. See you after this. Welcome back to the East of England Arena with one heat remaining. It is 37-47, so the Aces do get the win, but it's got Heat 15 still to come. If you're into your motorsport, then you're going to love all the sport that is coming your way, including the World Superbikes. They're in Donington Park, Eurosport 2. Live on Saturday, it's their round 6. The first round of the World Supercross is in Birmingham, live from Villa Park. Eurosport 2 live on Saturday at 6:30. The FIM Motocross World Championship, you need to be up early in the morning on Sunday to catch that. It's from Lombok on Eurosport 2 at 5 a.m. and then the Porsche Super Cup. It's their second round there in Austria, Eurosport 2 live, 10:25 a.m. But let's head now to Scott Nichols, who's with the managers, and get their picks for Heat 15.
Yeah, thanks, Abby. I'm with the team manager. I'll come to Rob from Peterborough first. Rob, there's been some massive positives from tonight with Vadim coming in, but it's a frustrating night. What's the message you're giving to the riders right now?
Well, I think they've all given 100%. You can see that they've took the fight to Bellevue, but they're pretty good around our place. Have been for many years, as you know, and it's very difficult. 4 race winners tells its own story. But positives, Tarasenko's adapted well tonight, first time round here. We just need more race winners, and once we get that, maybe we'll be in the game.
Yeah, it just takes a couple of race wins for riders' confidence to be lifted. Hopefully you can round out on a high. Who are you going with in Heat 15? What gates, please?
Ben Basso in red off gate 2 and Vadim Tarasenko in blue off gate 4.
Okay, thanks, Rob. I'll come to you, Mark. Mark, you've got the job done. It's against the bottom of the table, but you still can't rest in your laurels. A wounded animal, you can never underestimate what they're capable of. But was your message to your riders different coming into tonight than it would be for any other meeting?
Not really, no. Basically, we've got the process we've got to follow. I know we're sort of sitting high at the top of the tree and they're Peterborough at the bottom, but you don't sort of rest and take anything for granted in this game. We had to come here with a sort of a job. We had a couple of boys that didn't really fire tonight, so I guess that sort of just shows how the team sort of responds as a unit. When your confidence is up, it filters through and kind of keeps it, everyone sort of chippy and chirpy, and we've seen a good result by the boys.
It certainly does. I mean, Jamie Lidsey, for example, one has really turned around, probably low on confidence to start the season, but tonight he's been fantastic. Just quickly, who are your runners and riders for Heat 15, please?
Yeah, sure. We're going Dan Buell in white off gate 1 and Jamie Lindsay in yellow off gate 3.
Okay, thanks. Best of luck to you, boys. Back to you, Abby.
Scotty, thank you. So we now know the riders for Heat 15, but let's get their last update of the evening from Dave Rowe at Monmouth Green.
Wolverhampton heading for the most emphatic of victories in this meeting over Kings Lynn. In heat number 12, more action in the home side's favour, with Ryan Douglas in red and Leon Flint in blue taking a 5-1 over Nikolai Clint and Simon Lambert. It put them 54, 18 points in front after heat 12, still 3 to go. Heat number 13 then, Sam Masters and Rory Schlein against Chris Harris and Nick Morris, and a good start by Sam Masters from the inside, and Morris trying to turn tight. Rory Schlein gets squeezed out in blue there on the inside, and it's Masters who leads from Harris, with Morris in third place and Schlein out the back. So Sam Masters continuing his winning ways out in front, with the Kings Lynn boys packing in second and third. The two Kings Lynn guests, in fact, Chris Harris and Nick Morris. We are told that Artem Laguta will return to the Kings Lynn side next week, but without him this evening, and second and third here in heat 13, although Rory Schlein in blue, who's provided some good racing so far, is looking to come through from the back. Masters with the advantage, and a real tight turn then by Rory Schlein takes him from fourth to second, past both Chris Harris and Nick Morris. Schlein holds the inside to great effect there and comes through, and now Nick Morris on one wheel off the fourth turn. It's Masters in front, it's Schlein in second, and it's Morris trying to come back through once more. He turns for the inside, and he gets down the inside of Schlein into bend 3, and can he move him aside there as Masters wins heat 13, and Nick Morris and Rory Schlein. Nick Morris just gets there for second place and prevents a 5-1 there. It's a 4-2, making it 58 points to 20. And in heat number 14, the rider in blue, Zach Cook, leading Ryan Douglas round turns 3 and 4, and that is a 5-ride 15-point maximum for Zach Cook, a man really making fast strides in the Premiership in recent weeks. He has been superb. Wolverhampton way on top, still one race to go. Wolverhampton 63, Kings Lynn 21.
Wow, what a performance the Monmouth Green boys are putting in there. They will remain unbeaten at home. We've got the big Heat 15 coming up, though, at the East of England Arena. Over to you, Cal.
Yes, thanks very much, Abby. Yes, it's a good-looking race and a fine way to conclude the evening. Of course, the result has gone the way of the Bellevue Aces, but some pride on the line here, and of course the Panthers pair will want to finish off well, but with men like Dan Bewley in the race and Jaimin Lidsey, who's riding so very well at the moment, it's not going to be an easy task, and there's no doubt that with gates 1 and 3 in heat 15, they will be looking for that. But it does appear that the home team have chosen to go from gates 2 and 4 in heat number 15. Line up for the final race of the night then, heat 15, is Dan Bewley on the inside in white. Ben Basso goes out of gate number 2 in red. Jaimin Lidsey, who's ridden really well tonight, goes out of gate number 3 in yellow, and Vadim Tarasenko on his debut goes out of gate number 4 in the blue helmet colour. Sunwell, Tarasenko, looking to try and make something out of heat number 15. Bit of a consolation prize if they can get their noses in front here. Bewley has been riding superbly well tonight, really is at one with the bike here this evening, and Jaimin Lidsley was unbeaten until his last ride and ran third, but it was an action-packed race that really was, in heat number 12. Good speedway once again here in the Premiership. We've been royally entertained. Must say we've been on 3 consecutive weeks, and all 3 meetings have really have lived up to the billing, that's for sure. So riders now coming forward for the final time this evening. This is Tarasenko taking his time, coming forward on the outside, just making sure he's feeling really comfortable on the bike. So final time this evening, heat number 15. Green light is on. Tapes are up and we're away. Fantastic start from Basso out of gate number 2, and here comes Tarasenko around the outside. Gates 2 and 4 working beautifully there, and they're away. Brilliant stuff from here. Certainly Tarasenko just roaring away out there. Basso now coming under pressure from Lidsley. He's going to have to ride with eyes in the back of his head, because Bewley becoming on strong there, running hard into turns 3 and 4. Basso in the middle of the track, he's vulnerable. Bewley getting faster and faster on the outside, looking for a way through. Tarasenko's cleared off. Bewley around the outside. Oh, beautiful move from Dan Bewley. Gets the better of the youngster. Then Benjamin Basso, he's relegated to 3rd place. Jaimin Lidsley now coming on strong as well in 4th. Tarasenko, what a way to finish his evening off. He's out in front, but Lidsley now trying the inside line. Basso responds, clamps the door shut. But Vadim Tarasenko, what a way to finish your night on your debut, winning heat number 15. Fabulous ride. What a start. He really is going to be a hit here if you keep making starts like that. Fantastic stuff. Home team actually battling right through there, didn't throw the towel in. Smashing race there between Basso and Bewley, with Bewley coming through in 2nd place and Benjamin Basso hanging on in 3rd. But that man Tarasenko has wanted to come to this part of the world for some time. Crowns on their feet. Disappointing result for the team, but nonetheless a stunning opening effort from Vadim Tarasenko here at his home club. And you keep riding like that, you're going to become a hero very quickly indeed. So let's have a look at the result of the final race of the night. Vadim Tarasenko out in front, 3 points for him. Dan Bewley coming through into 2nd place, 2 points. Benjamin Basso hanging on in 3rd, and Jaimin Lidsley missing out in heat number 15. It's gone the way of the aces tonight, but Scotty, got to say, Vadim Tarasenko, great effort from the outside.
A dynamite opening night in his home track for Vadim, and I got a feel for the Panthers a bit here, in particular Benjamin Basso. He's rode his absolute socks off. He is a hard charger. He certainly didn't throw the towel in, but just would have been so nice for the Panthers just to round out a little bit of the high. They got the race win, but Dan Bewley, we know what he's all about. He's like a clock. He just keeps winding himself up on the outside, muscling that bike around the outside. And just he got the legs. Poor old Benjamin here, he looks over his left and realises I'm going to be a little bit snookered here, so I've got to try and salvage what I can, and that was to allow Dan Bewley round the outside. But GP rider and Kelv, it's just a great night's racing, but sadly just not quite enough for the Panthers.
Absolutely, there's no doubt that man has made a big impression right from the get-go. And you've got to believe that Vadim Tarasenko could be the catalyst that maybe just inspires this Panthers team. They needed something. They've brought in somebody clearly full of enthusiasm.
They certainly have, Kelvin. I think, for me, atmosphere is huge within a team, and I was part of that Dad's Army when they won, and for me it was that atmosphere that really got us through. But I think that Vadim coming in, hopefully he can ignite a little bit of enthusiasm, get the boys gelling a little bit, work as a team, not an individual, and hopefully the Panthers are not going to make the playoffs, but hopefully they can redeem themselves as the season goes on.
Absolutely right. It's all about restoring some faith for the fans and giving them something to get excited about. So, terrific stuff. Thank you very much, Scott. But let's go back down to Abby now, and she'll get some more reaction down in the pits.
Kelvin, thank you. Well, the reaction that we want to get is chatting to this man after the break. Use that hashtag #PetBell. Panthers fans, what do you think of your new signing? It is Bellevue that took the win, but particularly the Panthers have got to thank Vadim Tarasenko, their new signing, for at least keeping them in the mix. Join us after the break.
back in some 6 days' time. The All Coast Guard farewell meeting. Chris Harris will be joining us for that one. So too, Ambassador Danny King, former British champion. Troy Batchelor, former Olympic rider champion as well. Charles Wright, back with us from Bellevue, and plenty more. Steve Cover at Luxton, Evo Rondell, Nigel Flatman. We hope you will join us as well. Don't forget those remaining sponsorship and auction bidding opportunities.
So the final score here at the East of England Arena, 41 to the Panthers, 49 to the Aces. All the sport that's happening over the next few weeks. We've got cycling, Giro Donne, that's stage 1. It's Friday at 1 p.m, Eurosport 1. Mountain biking, the UCI World Cup, Val di Sole, that's Friday as well at 4:30 on Eurosport 1. The Tour de France, that kicks off on Saturday as well. It's all happening on Saturday. And then we also have the sailing, the ocean race from Genova. And that's Saturday, Eurosport 2 live at 11 o'clock. Let's head now to Dave Rowe. We have got one heat remaining there. So final thoughts, Dave.
Well, it has been a real tough night for Kings Lynn and a really one-sided encounter at Monmore Green, but the Stars did finish on something of a high. Nick Morris, who has rode his heart out as a guest this evening in place of the injured Michael Palmtoft, winning Heat 15 ahead of Ryan Douglas. And in fact, with Nikolai Clint in third place, Kings Lynn did gain a heat advantage in the final race. They've been waiting all night to get one, and they finally got one there in Heat 15 for a final score of 65-25. Nick Morris scoring 11 points for the Kings Lynn. That's 11 of their 25-point total. But all in all, a hugely convincing performance by Wolverhampton, looking so strong at home. That 15-point maximum for Zach Cook. Steve Worrell also unbeaten from 5 rides with 13 plus 2. Ryan Douglas piling up 13 plus 3. And Sam Masters a 4-ride paid maximum 10 plus 2. As we have seen throughout the campaign so far, it will take a strong side to beat Wolverhampton around Monmore Green as the season goes on. And this was, as I say, very much a one-sided encounter. Kingston will hope for a lot better in the weeks to come, but Wolves very strong on their own patch and back up to second place in the table. Final score, Wolves 65, Kings Lynn 25.
A massive win for Wolves there. And this is what it does mean for the standings. You heard Dave Rowe say Wolverhampton Wolves are up into second. Bellevue Aces keep the lead. Leicester Lions now down to third. Sheffield Tigers in fourth. Outside the playoffs, Ipswich Witches, Kingsland Stars, Peterborough Panthers at the moment. Let's head over to Scotty Nicky. Nichols, he's got 2 superstars with him.
Don't worry, Albert, I've been called by far worse, trust me. I'm going to come to Dan first. Dan, fantastic win for the Aces tonight. Obviously, you must have come here pretty confident you could do the business.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all came here, just happy to come here. It's one of, I think everybody in the team loves this track. So, we didn't underestimate the team one bit, especially now they've made some changes. And it showed tonight, they've got some good riders and not to underestimate them. But, we all love this track for sure.
And when you say you love a track, does that mean it kind of takes away the home track advantage for the home team?
No, definitely not. There's a lot of tracks I've been moving and I've been slowing at the back. So, no.
Sorry, but I mean in the sense that it means it's a pretty even racetrack. The fact you enjoy coming here, and I mean you boys have shown it's a big track, but it's nothing like Bellevue. Only the fact that it's a big track, really.
Yeah, that's it. It's but a little bit different material to Bellevue. Similar to Kings Lynn, but it also rides completely different. But no, just a great track. When it's working, it feels like you're on train tracks, and sometimes you feel like you're on train tracks, but just the real slow trains. So, but no, it's a lot of fun. Good racetrack.
I was going to say, did it feel at some points throughout the night that the tracks kind of went on a little bit of a diversion because you used it outside to full effect in race 1, but then it seemed to not really becoming part of the game plan for a majority of the night?
Yeah, I was actually a little bit surprised in Heat 1. I didn't make a very good start and just went for it. And, sometimes your looks in, it all paid off. But, yeah, I think just as the track dried out. And actually, when I was on the outside, I think it was wet on the inside. So that's why it was working. But, no, a good racetrack. And, yeah, you got to keep an eye on it always.
And finally, before I let you go, you just mentioned the starts. They looked a little bit tricky tonight, a little bit unpredictable. And when I was looking on the monitors, you could see the start. A lot of the ruts were crisscrossing, so a lot of the boys were kind of struggling to get traction into that first turn.
Yeah, for sure. The starts are kind of weird here. Sometimes they're grippy, but every time I feel like you get a different feeling. But No, I think that's where the home track advantage comes in. If you can get dialed in on the starts, then you're onto a winner. But there's no excuse why the away riders, they can't, adapt and make it happen.
Well, the winning feeling's always nice. So thanks for joining us, Dan. Going to come to Vadim now. Vadim, a fantastic first night at the showground for you.
For firstly, I want to say it to fans for coming, and thanks British League for invitation me. I'm so happy for starting. Yeah, it was nice start meeting with Wien. Today we have a chance for training 12 o'clock. Find with my Polish mechanic and English mechanic optimal setup. We started it with it. It was okay, but we must have changed a lot. Per head, and it was surprising for me on the start because too hard find a good place for make a perfect start, and some place different and completely sometimes not feeling my bike. It was difficult for me.
It was, but you had a great night. How different is it racing here to in Poland?
Hard to say because. Here I'm first, my first time in this track, and in Polish. In Polish, I think more hard packed tracks, and I feel my bike better in England because material is looks like grippy, and feel in the hands my bikes how it's going ahead. I like it.
Did you feel a lot of pressure before your first race?
I'm close 30, and now I know how make pressure too fast.
Well, you dealt with the pressure. You had a fantastic night. It's great to see you here in the UK. Thanks, Vadim. Over to you, Abby.